The financial independence, retire early movement, or FIRE gives you the freedom to be whoever you want to be. If you want to retire at 24, like Mike Rosehart did in today's interview, you can do that. If you simply want to have more time to spend with your kids or want to leave the job that you don't like, it can do that for you too. You can be whoever you want to be.
I think it's valuing your time and deciding what do you want to do with your time on this earth.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us, being in a cubicle from 9 to 5 for the rest of our life, for 40, 45 years of our life, that's not palatable. I always reference this Gallup study, but there are other studies out there that have referenced and studied people's contentment in their jobs and how satisfied they are with the work that they do. And something like 70 to 75% of people are dissatisfied or strongly dissatisfied in the work that they're doing, as in they don't enjoy their job. That means almost 3/4 of people need the FIRE movement.
Yeah.
They need to make a change in their life. And maybe that doesn't mean, full on, like I use the word firepreneur sometimes.
Okay.
And firepreneur is like basically the idea that you are an entrepreneur, but you're FIRE. And so like, there's even probably a better term for it, but basically like an entrepreneur that's financially independent.
Yeah.
So if you're an entrepreneur that's financially independent, you can take those risks. You could, do what's best for your business, do what's best for your clients without having to worry about like drawing a paycheck. A meaningful life is one where you don't have to worry about your finances anymore. You've kind of got to a point where the passive income is automated so you can live the life you want to live. And when money's taken out of the equation, it's surprising how the mindset shifts. Even I remember when I reached financial independence and that point where I literally had the 25 years of living expenses set aside in my net worth so I could be able to withdraw 4% forever.
Yeah.
I remember going to work and that day was different than all the rest because I was there by choice, right? I wasn't there even by the necessity, the need to work. And so that's a big thing, just like a mental shift where you go from being there because you have to be to like pay the bills, take care of your family, take care of yourself, to shifting to, okay, now I'm here because I want to be. When I was 16, I worked at a local like cafe and for 2 years, and I worked almost full time in high school from when I was 16 to when I was just 17 before I went to university. 17, I went off to university. I studied 4 years of business, went to one of the top business schools in Canada. I have mixed feelings about, university and education. I think post-secondary education in general is good for some. And, you, for instance, didn't go to post-secondary, right?
No, I couldn't really justify the 4 years or the amount of money that it would entail when I had no idea what I wanted to go for. And I just think, like most Americans or probably Canadians, just think it's so much more important to have stuff now than to worry about your financial future because they don't see that it's so attainable.
That's the secret, right? If you want to get started in the FIRE movement, start with delayed gratification.
Yeah.
That's the place to start. You have to learn how to delay that gratification. Your future self will not be upset. Like, I'm not upset that I'm a multimillionaire today and I didn't go to Europe, right? Like, that trade-off was totally worth it.
Yeah.
I have no regrets. That could also be like the cognitive dissonance setting in, which is basically the idea that like, so your brain will rationalize any decision that you make,
Sure.
and you'll think that it's the right thing you did.
Yeah,
so people who travel will be like, yeah, it was so worth it that I traveled and I'm broke now, I'm 35. It was totally worth it, man.
Yeah.
Often what you'll find is you talk to those people in the workplace. I would talk to those people when I worked at KPMG in accounting and then later on in consulting. I would talk to those people who are like 45 and they're just grinding, right? Like managers or something, making 70, 80,000 a year, but no net worth because they partied away their 20s and they spent their 30s away, and now they have like 3 kids and a wife that's kind of holding them back from doing anything. And
you can really trap yourself so quickly.
yeah, like they're very trapped, and they felt. It's interesting. You see those people, and they do have. You can see like underneath, if you peel back the layers or the covers, you can see that there is a bit of regret there that they didn't manage their finances better. And so I think that kind of lifestyle, I think to me just isn't appealing. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a millennial in me that enjoys like the freedom, because I literally can do whatever I want for the rest of my life. I never have to work another day ever. That's empowering. To be like 24, 25. I'm now 26. I've been retired over 2 years now, and I haven't worked a traditional job. Haven't had to work. My net worth's still grown because I've taken on some businesses and had some fun with friends. But that's for me, like, that's who I am. I like building things, and building businesses is just fun. I think financial independence has the lowest barrier to entry. But by that, I mean, it's the most attainable thing. Pretty much anyone can do it if they've grown up in a first world developed nation.
Yeah.
So if you grew up in like Europe or like Canada, United States, even like Japan, all these other countries around the world, you have the opportunity. It's there for you to take. Even if you've made mistakes in the past, that isn't a reason you can't make a change going forward, right? Sure. You've seen these these videos out there of people who've paid off debt in 10 months, 12 months. You see those videos, they're very clickbaity, like how I paid off $80,000 in student loans in 12 months. Stuff like that.
I wish I had some debt so I could make that video.
Yeah.
I've never had any.
Before I realized
doable.
how important mortgages were to not pay off, because of course you don't want to pay down 3% debt. I did that for a while. I did like the debt pay down. I paid down like $60,000 in debt in like 8 months. Wow. So if I can do that, making $55,000 a year, salary job, and my wife at the time making 37,000 Canadian, by the way, and Canadian's worth a lot less than the U.S. It's like, that's probably $40,000 in U.S. salary, right? It's like a 20% difference or so. Okay. So if we could do it, like anyone could do it, because we literally, the average Canadian makes like 47,000 or something a year, and my wife was making 37. So we were making below average incomes for a decent portion of our fire journey. Mm-hmm. And so that's the thing that I like so much about the frugality aspect is if you can tone your spending way down to $15,000, $20,000 a year with house hacking, it's really easy to do. Yeah. Then that means basically anyone can do it. Even if you're making minimum wage in Canada, $14 an hour puts you at like $26,000 a year, which means you can still save. So even if you make minimum wage and work full time, you can reach financial independence. So I say literally anyone can follow this movement and better their financial future. Once you get the snowball rolling, you've got enough to savings after say a few years to get into your first property, maybe your first house hack. Yeah. Then you start building some real equity and it really starts to snowball. Maybe the house appreciates in value, you renovate it, add some more strategic value. All of these things kind of snowball, and next thing you know, you've got so much passive income from your real estate portfolio, your stock portfolio, that your time is literally not even worth spending at the day job. My passive income was higher than I was making at my day job in consulting. I'm like, wow, my money works harder than I do. Mm. Why am I working anymore? And that was for me in 2017, in February 2017 when I quit. That was the mindset I was having. My real estate portfolio, my stock portfolio were generating double what I was making for my salary day job. So that was the point where it was like, what am I doing? Wasting 50 hours a week on that when I could just start enjoying my life. It's about doing whatever you want to do on your terms. And I think that's really attractive. Who doesn't want to do what they want to do on their own terms, right? Yeah. I think where there's a bit of the sticking factor with the whole FIRE movement is around the sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Because everything good that you want, like if you listen to just like JBP or any of the guys who talk philosophically about, basically in order to get something good, you have to give something up. Like there has to be a sacrifice. Yep. You can't just become a multimillionaire and put no effort in, right? You can't just reach FIRE and have done nothing, right? And just live like whatever you want.
Yeah, if you don't want to be like everybody else, you got to live differently than everybody else.
That's right.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, no, but I want that, but I also want this new car. Like, all right, like it's not, the new car is not what's keeping you back. It is the new car plus this. Like it's when you add those 20 things, you have to decide what's important, and is your identity tied up in these 20 things, or do you want that freedom?
That's exactly right.
It's really a choice.
It's finding that, and for me, it's for my lifestyle and my family's lifestyle. It's been about time with each other more than money, right? Like I can't solve a lot of my problems with my daughter by giving her money, right? I can just buy her stuff. I have to spend time with her. I have to develop her into a good human being. And so I think that time fixes things more than money fixes things. And so in our society today, a lot of us want to just outsource everything. There's hire out laundry service now. Everyone orders out their own food. They hire out their lawn care. They hire out their maintenance on their car. They hire out everything, right? Yeah. They don't do anything anymore. And there's sort of this refreshing perspective, I think, when you talk to someone who's more of a Renaissance man, who knows how to like cook their own food and clean their own house and do their own laundry. And I think that there's something about that. Like our grandparents' generation, they didn't go eat out every night, twice a day, lunch and dinner. They ate out like once a month or once every few months, and people ate at home, and the family unit stayed together and they spent time with each other. And there's, I think that lifestyle is sort of nice and refreshing to bring that back. And I think that the way our grandparents lived, a lot of that is like the frugal living, frugality, FIRE movement. We're just bringing it back because I think we shifted from everyone was kind of taking care of themselves, their own individual units, to becoming a full-based service economy where we outsource everything. And now I think we're having a little bit of a pullback and a shift. And
also not tying your happiness like to the carnival. Like there's so many ways of doing, like maybe like you were talking about with food where you can get it 50% off, or we're talking about with travel hacking where you can travel like for free. Every year you can get like a free flight to like anywhere you want. Like all these different things, just finding a different way to do things than everybody else is pretty much all we're doing. We're living, like you have a really nice home here, but you're just
Thanks.
doing it differently than all the other people here. And it's the same level of happiness. It's the same exact thing almost, except it's free or you're getting paid for it. You could still have really nice stuff. Just think about it a little more than everybody else.
Exactly. Some people are even there, like they have the money and they just don't have it allocated properly. That's a different conversation. Like for the people who come on my channel who have like $1 million house that they've paid off outright with tons of equity they could tap into to make cash flow. That's just how do you invest properly? That there's different stages, right? There are a lot of baby boomers today who don't know how to create passive income. And so there's a whole section there of people who joined the FIRE movement who are like, I didn't even realize I could retire. Like I thought I had to grind for another 10 years just because I didn't make a simple mindset shift, like they just downsize and take the equity in their house and they're financially independent. One shift, one change, right?
Yeah.
I've watched people go from like paycheck to paycheck to get into a rent hack scenario where they rent out a 4-bedroom house, get 3 roommates. All of a sudden they're like, hey, my student debt's paid off and I'm now on the track to being financially independent. Then they get a house and they house hack. And they're like, hey, now I'm financially free. You see the results case after case after case. And I'm convinced that this is probably the best movement around for life-changing, for having meaningful impact on people's lives.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it's not as hard as everybody makes it think. Because, like, I don't make much money. I'm not really smart. I didn't go to college. Like, I just look at myself as, like, I'm the baseline of, like, an average human being. And if I can, like, I haven't reached financial independence yet, but you buy one house hack, and now if I could quit for the next 2 years. Like,
so what are the numbers on your house hack? How does your house hack work?
I'm making about $250 a month.
So what does your house look like? Is it a duplex?
It's a 3-unit. So I'm renting out the top 2 in the garage, and I rehabbed the one I'm in, so it's a really nice place, and I'm living there, and I'm still making money, and then I'm about to go get my next one. But like, you do that decision. Like, I don't know, like, if I could afford to pay rent and like all these other things. Like, if I had all these other expenses, I'd be in the exact same boat as somebody else. But instead, I have a much nicer place than I would otherwise have.
So you're living for free and making $250.
Yep.
In your pocket.
It's just that one.
Housing costs $0.
Yeah.
That's usually a third of people's spending right there.
Exactly. And then you just get that one more house or 2 more houses. You make a couple grand a month, and since your expenses or my expenses are so low, if I can make $2,000 a month, then I'm set for life. Like, not that I would just totally stop there, but I'd be able to quit if I wanted to. You have so much freedom with just 1 or 2 years of making conscious decisions. It's not like you deprive yourself of everything for 10 years and you're like, oh, you're miserable.
Yeah.
But it's just like, no, just make a few decisions and you'll have more freedom than you can get doing anything else.
It's interesting once you have your freedom and how the mindset's shifted over time from when I was 19 to when I was 24 and I quit to now when I'm 26. The mindset has kind of shifted for me where like I have passive income that could be like 10,000, a month easily.
Sure.
And I'm getting to this point where like maybe I'm thinking like I can't even spend what I'm bringing in. Maybe I should go on like one more trip. Maybe we should go like eat out or something. And so that's for me, it's a really weird shift. Outsourcing for the first time in my life, where I insourced everything before I would do it all myself. Now I'm like, you know what? Maybe it makes sense to like hire someone to cut my grass, which is like crazy. I haven't done that yet, but I'm thinking about those things, right? Like my rental properties, I have a whole bunch, and it's like I used to renovate them all myself. Now I don't renovate any of them myself. I have a crew of guys that are renovating them because I realize that my time is so valuable now that I can go make $1,000 with my time, doing a real estate deal or doing something else with my money, right? More strategically.
Yep.
If I get 1% higher return on my portfolio, that's tens of thousands of dollars. So I should be spending my time ensuring my money's working hard for me.
If you guys enjoyed that, all I would ask is that you hit the like button. It makes a huge difference, and thank you so much for all the support and comments on the last video. It was great to talk to some of you guys. If you guys want to check out Mike's channel, you're welcome to do that. I'll put his thingy over here somewhere. Check it out. Wait, you could also check out this video over here. It's really good. Click on it. Just give me a right there. Yep, right there.